Empowering English Language Learners is an educational video series highlighting best practices and resources to support diverse students in their classrooms, schools, and communities.
It's so vital for all of our children, even if we're in our own cultural climate, you know, the one that we're comfortable with. How much more important is that if you're in a second language, in a second culture that is foreign to you and you don't understand what's expected of you, to be able to bring those children through that process and that they're comfortable there and they're able to move forward, you know, without having that gap. We also provide that same sort of benefit for our women in the women's program, that when they're here, it's a gentler environment. So we're interested not only in their language learning, we're very much interested in introducing them to the culture as it is. So there's this exchange taking place where we've got women who, you know, they came here a month ago or 2 months ago, and they have no idea how it works here. Our perception of time, our perception of expectations in the classroom. When you go to the bank, how do you interact well? And we want to provide a safe place for them with people who love them deeply and who they often come to love. They often refer to us like we're their family. They'll say, you know, I feel like you're my sister, or I feel like you're my mom, because we're here for them as a whole person, not just as a language learner.
Skada, you didn't get a turn here, did you? Oh. Do a better job than that. There you go. All right, so this is a hot day.
Hot day. I don't like hot day.
Because
I can't go to the school by walk.
you can come to school when it's hot.
It's the difficulties that they bring or that they carry with them in their whole life, as wife, as mom, as someone who wants to work, who wants to have a career or had a career before. And now it's kind of feels like she's floating because she's not able to get out she doesn't have the language capacity yet to go out and pursue her dreams. And so we want to come around them from all of those angles and provide avenue for them. We provide support, we provide love, so that they feel safe to ask those questions. And we really seek to get to know our students as whole persons, so that we can learn what their needs are and better support them. Our vision for our organization is to help every international in Toledo to connect, belong, and become. A big part of who we are is reaching out to each of these clients that we have, each of these students that we have. We want to view them as a whole person who is part of their own community, part of their family, maybe a broader community there, and then of course within the community of Toledo. So we want to be that connection with them, that kind of handshake between them being alone when they first arrive. We want to connect and be the handshake between them and resources, English training, all kinds of different, depending on the individual student, what they need and what their family needs, so that they can go from having almost lacking a status when they first come because they don't have the community that they had before, the identity that they had before in their own context. When they come here, it's very easy to feel like you've lost your footing and you just don't know how you can even be a part of the community around you. We want to help them to empower them through language, empower them through relationships, interacting with people of different cultures here, so that they can not develop an identity here, but figure out who they are in this context. You know, we want to empower them to do that. We want them to be able to interact with their children's teachers at school and ask questions when they have questions. We want to help them develop the skills necessary for a job if they're looking to work. So with all of that, our goal is that each of these students, that they can become a true part of our community in Toledo.
Here, you know this word, right? Store. I go to the store.
Store is a noun.
The store is a noun, but you take the E away, put the M in. We have storm. It starts the same, doesn't it?
In order for students to be academically successful, maybe the most important quality is for them to be curious. Curiosity it's the first step in learning, because you take an interest in something that you're seeing and you push toward it. You know, you want to know more about it. You're willing to ask questions, and being able to acknowledge a lack of knowledge first, and having that joy in learning is huge in the classroom, because that also means that when they come in, they're happy to be there. They're interested in learning, and so the stresses of their life that they bring with them can kind of, you know, melt away a little bit for them, and they're able to really engage and to ask more questions and look at items, you know, vocabulary or grammar from a number of different angles as their teacher presents it, but also as their brains are trying to process through the deeper meanings that they're learning about. So curiosity, for me, is probably the number one quality I would look for.
Ice.
I-C-E.
Is it a noun or an adjective? Noun. Ice. Can you make, is there an adjective with it?
I-C, no?
Icy, yeah. I-C.
Why?
Start again.
I-C. Why?
Yes, you're right. Good God. I see.
They may have an image of who a teacher is or how a teacher acts that is not necessarily the same in this country as in their own.
Right.
Some of our more interactive style, we do a lot of activities, we do a lot of games, we like to move around, you know, because it helps you relax and it helps your brain to kind of, you know, to take in information a little bit better. And for some of them, they have never experienced that in a classroom. You know, laughing in a classroom with one another could be completely foreign to them, unless you're laughing with your friend and then the teacher's going to yell at you, you know? Even as simple as going to the grocery store or going to the bank, we would set up a time with the bank ahead of time to say, when are you not busy? Can we bring our class to kind of walk through this when the teacher is there and it's not quite as scary, you know? So we've done some things like that. So for example, last semester in our cafe class time, which is a more relaxed time where the women are able to engage as a whole school rather than separated by English level. Last semester they had a project they worked on every Tuesday for 8 weeks, and the project this semester was a Welcome to Toledo project. So they chose an area of life in living in Toledo. So for example, schools in Toledo, or interesting activities in Toledo. And within their group, each one of them had to research a different aspect of that. So they had interview questions that they wrote up, they went around and asked teachers, they were to go home, ask their neighbors, and come back with the information. And then as a group, they put it all together. Each one of them prepared a speech, whether they are absolute beginners all the way up to those women getting ready for college or for a job, and they had to stand in front of everyone as a group and they gave a speech. You know, it may have been 1 sentence or 2 sentences for those beginning students, or it may have been a couple of paragraphs, but speaking the research that they've done. And we may be their first step, you know, toward getting to know American culture.
This is rain. Yeah. You see the rain? Sun. This is wind. All right.
We have this opportunity to engage with them in very positive ways about who we are and who our culture is, and to hear from them as well about their own culture and where their experiences. So in this context, as much as we pour into our students and we desire to pour into them and to help them learn, we also get poured into, because when you start to make those connections and you start to feel like sisters or friends, the doorway of learning is both directions.
We're going to use the last few minutes to practice spelling. So, there we go.
To learn more about resources for ELLs, including the Ohio Seal of Biliteracy and Each Child, Our Future, please visit the Ohio Department of Education's website at education.ohio.gov. This educational video series, Empowering English Language Learners, was made possible through the cooperation of the Broadcast Educational Media Commission of Ohio and WGTE Public Media in consultation with the Ohio Department of Education.